Hey folks, it's Rob, and welcome back. We're continuing today on Night of the Living Dead by Alan Varney from 1989's TSR. Previously, we had entered this room pictured here. We can see the three great runes on the wall. A the description says mirror, so we're going to say mirror, although picture frame on a shelf, two flasks on a shelf, chest on a shelf, and this humanoid silhouette, which depicts some other world beyond on through, which is not a humanoid at all. It's just shaped like one. Seems to be some kind of portal to another world, as you do. It's very typical, of course. Not much to say about that. Um, we were going to decide, stuff to look at. I decided not to leave after we determined that this wasn't some weirdo monster that was going to attack me, and that you know, let's look at stuff. Mm, so, quite often I've been doing this in kind of like a reverse order, starting from the bottom. I will start with the mirror today, 75F, which is just a couple flips away. So I mean, let's do that right quick. 75F. This hand mirror's glass is dark and apparently non-reflecting, but when you look into it, you cannot believe what you see. If you use memory trace A, go to 37D. If you're using memory trace B, go to 67C. Well, we're using A, so 37D. 37D. You gaze in the mirror and see corruption. Rotting flesh, rotted morals, the beauty of unreachable death. This is the quintessence of unliving. You drop the mirror and shy back as though it were a dragon. You do not need a Cerebicule to tell you this mirror reflects the worst aspects of the holder. Why would Merrill want such a ghastly device, you wonder? The Cerebicule can't answer this, but from your own subconscious mind comes a potential explanation.
Security,
Says the weasel.
if the wizard was suspicious of someone, he'd tell them to look in the mirror, and then he'd know if they plotted against him. Then again, maybe he's just perverse.
If you want to take the mirror, add it to your list. Return it to 72A and keep looking, or leave 137F. Well, I got some room in the inventory. Why not? Let's add a weirdo mirror, right? Uh, get on now. All right. Just throw that in down here on the bottom of the sheet. Just going to put mirror. Can't imagine I'm going to run into lots of mirrors. I might be getting some other things, though. There was some, stuff on other shelves. Return to 72A to keep looking. Yes. Okay, here we are back at 72A. Um, so, yeah, we have the chest. We have the bottles. Let's do the chest on the shelf. 155E. 155E. The chest is small, finely made of dark wood, and appears to be unlocked. But you are leery of magical traps in this wizard's den. You let the Cerebicule sniff to make certain. Magic inside. You ask if there are traps, and it replies, none magical. Not totally helpful. Will you open the chest, 124B, leave it and look at something else, 72A, or leave, 137F? Well, we're going to open the chest. I mean, we game this way. Let's face it. If it's going to slice my arm off, it's going to slice my arm off. If it's going to poison me, I'm immune to poison. 124B. 124B. When you open the chest, you hear a faint snapping sound. Wham! You get hit full in the face with a coarse white powder. Inside your armor, the Cerebicule coughs. After a tense moment, you decide you are not going to fall over, at least immediately, and so you pull out the shrunken head. Poison, no guard, coughs the head. Surprisingly, you relax. As an undead, you feel no effect of poison. Tricky, that trap was not magical. You examine the interior of the chest. Inside is a small opalescent gem set in gold on a slender gold chain. Its glow marks it as magical. Protects against damage, says the Cerebicule. In another dimension. Sniff, sniff. Positive material plane,
Oh boy, says the weasel. Just what I've always wanted. Now, why would Merrill need? Your eyes go back to the gate, where you see the bright whirling lights. The positive material plane. You may take the amulet if you wish. It counts as a possession. Go to 136B to step through the portal, 72A to keep looking around, or 137F to leave the Dragon Tower. We're going to keep looking around at the moment because there's a couple other things here, but yeah, we'll take the amulet. Why not? Until I'm full up, I have no reason to not take things. Um, and right, yeah, that'll fit right here. Let's see, that was well, necklace positive is how I'm going to write it because there's only so much room on this sheet. Is it because if I write a necklace of protection, I'll think it's like some kind of form of protection other than just this specific event. So back to 72A. So that was the chest. We've looked at the mirror and taken basically both of those things. Let's look at the flasks because those are there, right? And we like stuff. Um, let's see. Tall bottle 106C. 106C. The liquid in the tall bottle is dark green, and when you tilt the bottle, it clings thickly to the side. Its smell is sickly sweet, not pleasant in the least. A sniff doesn't seem to bother the Cerebicule. Very strong potion. Guaranteed cure. Cure for what malady? Warts. You almost laugh. An incredible feeling for an undead. You put the stopper in the bottle. Since you're immune to disease as an undead, the potion is useless to you. Of course, you may take the bottle if you wish. It counts as a possession. Return to 72A to look at something else, or leave 137F. Well, in this case, I'm going to resist the power of accumulating things. The wart cure can just stay here. Let's go back to 72A. Right, and let's look at the other bottle. 134E for the short bottle. 134E. Something about the consistency of this dark fluid in a squat bottle makes you think of blood. You hold it up to the light. It is indeed red. You open it and sniff, but you can't tell anything, but someone can. The rubbery face sniffs for a long time. Very, very strong, says at last. Powerful elixir. Magic. Is it human blood? The Cerebral sniffs again. Blood, yes, not human. Potion heals constructs. Heals what? Constructs? Constructs. Constructs. Also undead. Rub it on skin. Repairs damage. An excellent find. You feel disturbed somehow that Merrill takes so much trouble with the welfare of constructs and undead. You may take the potion as a possession. At any time except combat, you may use it to heal all your damage up to your original unlife point total. Return to 72A to look at something else or leave 137F. Well, we're definitely keeping that. We can go from 9 unlife points to a full backed up to 40. This is actually great. This is the best find we've had in quite a while. It's not a piece of the staff. This is genuinely useful. Okay, 72A to continue looking at stuff. So that just really leaves the runes. Left rune, center rune, right rune. Let's look at the right rune, 124F. 124F. The Cerebicule sniffs the glowing rune for only a moment. Teleportation mark, it informs you. Transports you elsewhere when you touch it. Sniff some more. Don't know where. Will you touch the symbol? 117D. Keep looking around the room? 72A. Or leave? 137F. You know, I'm really kind of done here. Well, no, we have that. We have the portal. We have the portal. Yeah, let's go back and look at the portal. 72A. So we approach the figure 136B. 136B. It seems safe enough to let the shrunken head examine the figure. You hold it up, and it sniffs one sniff. Dimensional gate, it says. Different views represent different places, other planes. What dimensions? The Cerebical sniffs for a long time, while it views through the portal change in steady repetition. Dunno. 2 of them, but dunno. Travel through dimensions, alternate universes. Is there any greater adventure? You can hardly imagine where Merrill, who must have created this gate, would want to visit. Looking at the views the gate clicks through, you can tell nothing except that neither of them look very inviting.
Don't go gallivanting off through the dimensions, says the weasel. You could be gone for hours, days. You have a job to do right here.
Indeed, it is very risky. But if you wish to enter the portal, choose your moment, then step through to one of the 2 universes, the whirling bright lights, which we've established is the positive material plane, or a flaming sky, screams and sounds of burning, 150A. Oh, that just sounds lovely. Or you may return to 72A to keep looking, or leave 137F. Well, I gotta say the weasel has a point. Going through the portal into the positive material plane, if we didn't have the protection amulet, that would just probably be lethal because we would just be supercharged and eventually just probably explode. Because that's usually how the positive material plane. Meanwhile, the negative material plane would just drain all your existence away, and you'd become this cold, inert matter until you decay away there. Right? They're just the opposites of that, and the prime material plane which we're on is in between those 2. So, meanwhile, flaming skies with screams and sounds of burning sounds like literal hell. Which in the AD&D universe, there's a variety of options of hell and the abyss. Probably hell. I don't want to go to hell. Why would I go to hell? Let's not go to hell today. 72A. You know, we could use the teleportation rune. We are basically done here. That wouldn't be the dumbest thing. But what would be dumb is ending up in our combat encounter with the 9 unlife health points I have right now. Because I can't take the potion during combat. So I'm going to consume that now and restore full health. By which I will just note a 40 next to the health box and strike the potion from the list. And that will be fine. I could just leave. The teleportation will take me somewhere. Probably somewhere Meryl liked to go. Right? Why else would it exist? This is basically for Meryl's convenience. Probably the other 2 are some other kind of effect. Maybe also teleportation runes. I guess we could look. Left rune is 153D. 153D. The arcane rune is intriguing, but the Cerebicule can tell you nothing of its significance. However, it calls the glowing rune on the wall a teleportation mark. Teleportation? What does it do? Touch it, get transported to another place. Where? But the Cerebicule cannot tell you.
Will you touch the symbol 142B, keep looking around the room 72A, or leave 137F? I can't imagine the other rune is anything different. It's just they're probably go to different places. Or unless it's a trap. Always possible for traps. Um you know what? Let's leave. 137F. 137F. You depart the room and find your way out of the tower. The smoking dragon looms behind you as you descend the steps. Cerbicule tells you of no other place in the Sea Ward of interest. Go to 82A to find somewhere else to visit in Waterdeep. Okay. So 82A, the art on wants me to look at art on pages 80 and 81, of course, but that's the city, right? With the maelstrom down there and the various things about. Um, this is our how we can navigate, or we can use the map. Which again, my document camera is not functioning, and my replacement has not yet come. Because I was not able to restore my relatively expensive document camera that only lasted me about a year and a half. Not that I'm annoyed about anything. Um, what's left? Uh, really, without returning to anywhere we've already been, basically just the Southern Ward is left. So, traveling to the Southern Ward is 71A. 71A. In Southern Ward, one of the longest streets is Caravan Street, which ends in Caravan Court. And nearby are Coach Street, Carter's Way, and Coach Lamp Lane. Even visitors of short acquaintance with Waterdeep can guess where the stables are. Too poor to afford the noble villas of North and Sea Wards, too moral to tolerate the decay of the docks, the honorable poor of Waterdeep squeeze into Southern Ward. They cater into the caravans entering at South and River Gates. They run small shops and manufacture small goods. They sell to each other and eke out a narrow living. Yet the atmosphere in Southern Ward is homey, peaceful, and friendly. Buildings are clean and freshly painted. Some citizens who gain prosperity above the norm here, such as wizards and guildmasters, live on in the ward held by friendships and long tradition. Now zombies and specters roam the streets. What misfortune to befall these people, who can afford little misfortune? In Southern Ward, the Cerbicule takes special interest in the home of the wizard Capian Floormeister, 76A, and an unusually run-down tavern called the Full Cup, 84A. There is at least one piece of the staff in the ward, perhaps more. If you don't wish to enter either of these places, you can find nothing of immediate help in the Southern Ward. Return to 82A to pick again. Well, wizard place, right? Capian Fleurmaster, 76A. Bound to be something there. The Full Cup, yeah, we'll probably check that out too. I gotta knock off travel time, so we gotta knock off another half hour to get to the other ward down here. There we go. So now it's 11 a.m. And let's bring up 76A, which was not far away. Ah, we have art. Yes. Well, we're at 20 some odd minutes. I think that's a good place to stop. We'll read this next time. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you're enjoying the series. I'm sorry that, I can't show you things I have physically in front of me currently, but, we'll get there again. Have a great day. Goodbye.